All right, we are happily live on Facebook, and I'm very excited to see who shows up tonight with me as I visit with the amazing and adorable Emi Hilton. And we're hoping very soon that some of our Instagram friends will be able to join us also. We're live everywhere and on YouTube. So I'm very excited to welcome Emi Hilton to our chat tonight. And Emi, we're going to get this out of the way right now, you guys. Emi is not related to Paris Hilton. So
No, I wish I'm
don't
not.
be expecting that she'll be able to introduce you to Paris. That is not going to happen. But we're very happy to have her with us. And Emmy, you're really kind of a little bit new at the writing thing because we're busy raising kids and getting them in school, right? So
Yes, yes. It's only been signed my first contract back in 2021, so about 5 years now. But I've been really happy with what I've been able to do in that short amount of time. So
very exciting, very exciting. And I see my first one of the gang is here. Becky has made it. Hello, she's coming in from Texas. Yeah. And I see Pam, Paper with Pam, has joined us in the stream. So, yep, the gang is going to start slowly trickling in. And I'm very excited for you to get to know Emi Hilton, who has written a very fun book. And I just happen to have a copy here. Can you all see this? Just Until the Wedding. And this is a fun book. It's using a very popular trope right now about fake dating. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But I think first you might like to hear a little bit about Emi. And to my people as they're coming in, be sure and say a hi and tell us where you're coming in from. Hi, hey, Cindy has made it. Good to see you here. We kind of trickle in around here slowly but surely. And so I'm glad to see some trickling starting, some of you joining us. So anyway, but Emi, let's get right to it. Just tell us a little bit about, well, who you are. Who is Emi Hilton?
yeah, sure. So I'm Emily Hilton. I live in Los Angeles, and I've been writing for about 5 years. And I write sweet contemporary romance novels. That's what I kind of gravitated towards. Originally, when I started writing, I thought I was going to be a women's fiction writer, and it just didn't work for me. And I have loved reading romance my entire life. And so I thought, you know what? Why am I not monopolizing on
Yeah.
this years of
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
of reading wonderful books that bring me a lot of joy?
Yeah.
And so once I wrote that first romance novel, it just clicked for me. I knew that that was the genre that I could hopefully excel in, and I found so much joy in writing it and writing happily ever after and figuring out a way for my characters to end up together. And since then, I've stuck with the romance genre, and I don't see myself switching anytime soon either. So,
Well, the write what you love kind of thing. And you said that you
absolutely.
used to love reading romance. Were there any particular favorite authors that you loved to read?
Well, you for one,
No, hey, you guys, I did not make her say that.
no, she did
Not
not.
me. Somebody
I
else did.
remember I remember one of your very first novels. It was called Bikini Season.
Oh my gosh, that's ancient.
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I thought it was just so cute. And so definitely you were in the list. What another one is Debbie Comer is
Oh,
one of my
yes.
absolute favorites. I used to steal my mom. That was like a favorite of my mom's romance authors, and I used to steal them out of her room
It's great.
and
Debbie's
read them
awesome.
and then put them back. And so
Here, don't you know this?
yeah, I would just like sneak them. That was way back in high school. I was sneaking romance novels and
Oh,
just period. And then also too, I loved the classics like Jane Austen, of course, is one of them. The Bronte sisters. Uh, I'm blanking right now. North and South was one of my favorites in college. Elizabeth Gaskell, sorry. And
oh yeah.
so I've kind of just lived in that world. I tend to gravitate between both like the older romances and the new. I think there's something to learn from all of them. And so, yeah, those are some of my favorites.
Very fun, very fun. By the way, we had several people roll in since we started talking, and thanks everybody for joining us tonight, talking with Emi Hilton, who is writing romances, and she's a sweet romance girly. And so, if you happen to be more of a closed door reader, and because we all vary in what we like when it comes to romance. Some of the gals want the hot and spicy, get me all hot and bothered
Yeah.
stuff, and there's like, shut the door. And I think we're both kind of more shut the door girls when it comes to that particular genre. So the beautiful thing about this genre is there is something for everyone. And
Absolutely.
yes, and Emmy is that just so Emmy's right on that end of the spectrum. And by the way, guys, what a good thing it is when you happen to show up in person. Somebody will be winning a copy of a book from Emmy. We'll draw a name later and announce it on the Facebook page. I'm watching you Instagals too, though, so don't worry. I know if one of you wins, we'll be sure to let you know. And she will pick out a favorite book, one of her back cover books, back cover copy. The back cover copy. I can't talk today. It's been a long week.
Backlist. It's
You guys,
okay.
backlist. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, hi, Debbie's come in for Zephyr Hills. Hi. I see a lot of our main gang has joined us, and thank you for doing that because I'm sure you all had a very fun and busy weekend. And so doing this right after a holiday weekend, that can be a big commitment. And before I forget, and before we proceed any further with talking with the adorable Emmy, I just want to remind y'all that I will be back tomorrow. Rayanne, Thane, and I both have book birthdays this month and have our books out just within a few days of each other. So we're celebrating together. And that will be happening tomorrow, not on our normal 5 p.m. Pacific gathering, but at 6 because Rayanne has another commitment earlier. And so that'll be a little bit later. But do come back for that because we'll be book birthday partying and having some fun stuff going on then. So, but now back to our featured author of the day. Let's find out just a little bit more about you. So, what made you decide you wanted to be a writer? Were you always writing little stories as a kid, or did you finally read a book and do the old, I could do this?
Oh gosh, at least for me, I track it back to my senior high school English teacher. She pulled me aside. I had just written in that class we had to write like a senior thesis, and she pulled me aside and she said, "I think you really have talent and that
Wow.
this is something you could pursue." And that was the first time that I could remember where a teacher pointed out something to me that they saw in me that I had always kind of thought that I had, but to
Mm.
have that reconfirmed to me just meant the world and gave me the confidence to pursue that. And but then when went to college, at first I was like, I can't do English. Like that doesn't make the money, right? We're all about, I need to get a more sensible thing, a sensible
Mhm.
career. But I muddled through those science classes. I was just like, this is torturous for me. This is not, I have no interest in this. I do not excel in these areas. And so once I finally switched and declared my major as English, I felt like I found my people. It
Mm.
was just absolutely fantastic in every way that I wanted it to be. And what I've learned from that entire experience is that if you just pursue what you love, what you're talented at, that I really just think God opens the doors for you. He finds a path for you, even if it's maybe a little bit harder than something else, um, that you can find success if you just keep at it. You don't give up, you just keep at it. So,
I love that. I think that's a really good point and encouragement to people who are still going, well, I think I have some talent in this particular area, but what do I do with it? And the whole fact too that someone encouraged you, that's a reminder to us, especially like people like me who are a little older, to be sure and be on the lookout and encouraging upcoming talent. Or if you see a talent in somebody or a desire in someone, to be sure to encourage them because that can make all the difference, don't you think, on what they end up doing with their life?
oh, absolutely. I've had a few moms that have approached me, teenage daughters that have wanted me to speak to them about because they've
Mhm.
had an interest in writing. And I absolutely love to encourage them, love to give them that piece of just not advice, but I guess the freedom to pursue something that maybe isn't as sensible as something like medicine or in those type of fields.
Yeah.
But that it can happen for you if you just stick at it and
Yeah.
continue
And
to
it might not
improve
happen
and research.
might not happen the way you expect it to,
Absolutely
but
not. Yeah.
because I mean, we're all not going to be Nora Roberts, or Nicholas Sparks or whoever,
Right.
but we all are going to be something or somebody. We all have our own gifts and unique things that we can be doing. And I know we've got some teachers on here who follow us, and I'm going, that's just, that in itself is a calling. So whether you're called to teach or encourage, or whether you're in the arts somewhere, or whether you're going to keep a business running because you're good with numbers. I mean, boy, we all have our own unique giftings. I think it's really important to encourage each other to step into those giftings, as you have done now with the writing, which is just very cool. So tell us a little thing about what's the best thing about being a writer?
Oh gosh, there's so many things I love about it. I think that that's how I knew it was my calling in life, is that it's just pure pleasure for me. I love that I can set my own schedule. I have 3 children that are still at home and in school, that I can set my own schedule. I can fit in the writing when they're at school, or late in the evening, or early morning, depending on where I am with edits and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Also, too, I love the writing community. I think they're really supportive. At least that's been my experience. Very supportive of one another, very willing to help you in whatever way. And I love just spending a lot of my day in a different world, in the world that I'm creating. And when I'm writing, I just think of my readers and hope that it will bring their life a little bit of joy when they're reading my books. And so I guess I just love all of it. I love
I
all of
love that.
it.
Well, isn't it nice to be? I just like being in control. Well, my husband can testify to that. But it's like, no matter what's happening around you in the world, or in your neighborhood, or at home, or with the kids, this is the one world where you are in control. And I just kind of find that kind of fun about writing. I like being able to tell my characters what to do, and they have to do it.
Right. Absolutely. And I
And
love
the
to.
work wardrobe is great. You sit there in your
Yeah,
jammies doing your,
absolutely. Yes, that's the best part. I can work wherever, on my couch, on my bed. I can go to like a coffee shop, or, do it on the go.
yeah,
A lot of, I wrote a whole entire book poolside during the summer when my kids were swimming. So,
yeah.
there, that's what I like about it a lot. It's just the flexibility of being
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to do
it
it.
is definitely a more flexible career. And so when you're writing, have you got a favorite snack for inspiration?
Oh gosh, I am a sucker for these dark peanut butter hearts that are at C's Candy. I don't if people know what that shop is, but I love them. If I just have one that kind of motivates me to keep writing, or I'll give myself like, okay, if you write for 2 hours straight, then you can have one. So I
I
guess
love
my inspiration comes more from like a reward system.
That's great motivation. We'll work for chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I call vitamin C. Got to get my vitamin C for the day. And I'm not talking about the supplement. I'm talking about chocolate. By the way, those of you who joined us now recently, I see you. Thanks for coming. And I'm happy you're here on our different platforms talking with Emi Hilton, who, as we said earlier, don't get excited. She's not going to introduce you to Paris because they're not related. She's her own woman.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but let's talk a little bit. Let's move on and talk a little bit about this book. Just until the wedding. This is a popular trope right now in romance for some reason, this whole fake dating. So what's the deal in this? Well, I'm gonna let you tell a little bit about the book rather than me tell about the book, because I could just go in and I might share some things. I don't want to give any spoilers. So tell us a little bit about what's the deal with the fake dating in this book. I mean, I know, but you tell them.
Okay. So, what it is I have my two characters meet right away in the first chapter, Brooke and Logan, and they meet kind of in a grocery store, not thinking that either of them are looking for love. Brooke is fresh off of a breakup, like she gets dumped, and then she goes to the grocery store, to
For
buy unhealthy,
bread.
yeah, to buy unhealthy food, to eat
I
her
love that.
sorrows away, and she ends up not having any way to pay. And so Logan helps pay for her, like, just as a kind. She walks out of the store, and Logan ends up paying for her food and comes after her, and they have this meet cute. But you know, as it goes, they're both doctors working at the same hospital, and so she's coming off of this breakup. She has her best friend's wedding coming up and now realizes that she will not have a date, and her ex is the best man. So she does not want to show up at this wedding by herself. And Logan is his family is pressuring him to get back to take out give it a second chance with an old ex that he's been hung up with on for years. And so they come up with this plan that he'll go to the wedding with her, and in exchange she will go with him to his family's house for dinner to get his family off his back. And so that's kind of how the story unfolds, and that's the starting of this fake relationship, which, as we know, fake relationships never stay fake for long. Right, so one starts to develop feelings, and the other one does, and then they go back and forth not knowing where the other person is. So anyways, I this is the first time I've written a fake dating trope, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, to play around with those moments where she starts to like him, and then he starts to like her, but they don't want to say, is this fake or real? And just that dance that's played between the characters, um, is fun.
Have you ever fake dated?
Oh gosh. No, I wish I had been more sophisticated in that. And I mean, there was a few times in college where you'd ask, a friend to show, a guy friend to show up with you at a party that you knew maybe someone else was at that you had your eye on.
Well, that
You
kind
wanted to
of
make.
counts. Doesn't that count as fake
I think
dating?
it can, right? You
Oh,
try to make someone else jealous.
that's right. I think that's kind of the lure behind that really is the whole, you get dumped or whatever, and I'm going to show him that I can just fine
Yep.
without him. And let me find somebody really cute and hunky, and then you will just, oh, sorry that you dumped me. Uh,
Exactly. That's the hope, right? That's always the hope. They're going to
That's
regret it.
right. Well, I want to circle around though to your main characters. There's a little more depth to this. To this woman has not had a good childhood growing up, and so it's left her insecure in many ways and with some pretty low self-esteem. And I thought that was an interesting thing to add in there. And I wonder, as I was reading, I thought, so it almost sounded like she thought this guy she was with was a perfect guy, but in reality, she was settling. She was just kind of grabbing it. Oh, somebody wants me.
Right.
And I think often, don't you think we sometimes do that in real life too? We settle. We don't think we deserve more, and we often end in not the best relationship because we just thought, well, this is the best I can do. I think he just loves me. Maybe he's not perfect. Maybe he's me. Maybe he is, fill in the blank. But this is the best I can do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I really did like, exploring that a little bit more, that, Brooke's family life was not good.
No.
And she steps into this relationship with someone that gives her a sense of family, right? Because she has more, she has couple friends. She feels like she's part of a group, but she never feels that she quite fits in, quite measures
Mhm.
up. And so then when he finally dumps her, it's just so devastating to herself that here she thought, oh gosh, I can't even get a guy to like almost the fake version of me. How will I ever find someone that will like the real me? And I really like discovering that Logan was able to help build her up some. And also to show what a normal family could be like, a stable family, and how she can have the flip in a relationship where they're welcoming and accepting of her. And so I think that helped kind of, just like you said, bring a little more depth to the characters.
Well, some interesting comments from some of our readers here who have joined us. Nicola said, or another motivation can be maybe feel nobody else is going to come along. Kind of like this is the last
Absolutely. Yeah.
chance. And if I don't keep this one, well, then who will I get? I just think
Right.
sometimes as women, especially, I think sometimes we make decisions, we don't realize we're making them out of desperation, but sometimes we are. And some of that I kind of blame on our culture a little bit because we're all told, well, we have to be beautiful, we have to be talented, we have to be, you fill in the blank, you have to be Barbie come to life, and we don't. There are all kinds of different men out there who are all kinds of different women, and I think it's important when we're picking who we're going to spend a life with to just say, hey, this is really going to be a fit. So I loved that. I thought that was interesting. And it was very, even though she wasn't necessarily consciously, well, she sort of was when she picks this guy. He's stable, and he's got a family, and he's like the missing part. And it seems like she almost knows that subconsciously, that this is what I need in my life. This is the kind of person I need to partner with to really make a full life. So, and we're always told you can't depend on another person to fulfill all your needs, which is true. But I think you can find another person to complement you and to help you fulfill your needs, So, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I liked kind of writing about in this is because Logan has his own hangups too, right?
Yeah.
He's hung up on this
Oh, yeah,
ex.
that's true. The X.
And so to have them both kind of help each other in that way where they have these things from the past and then they're able to help the other person realize, no, you are valuable.
Yeah.
And to have Brooke realize too, like, I deserve something more than what I had with this guy that dumped me and didn't treat me very well.
Yeah.
That and so that's something that I always like to just to explore more in and something I enjoy writing into romance novels to give women some hope. Yeah, to
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. To remind us of our worth, you know,
absolutely.
because gosh, I have to laugh. I sometimes think the whole civilization would collapse without women. When you stop and think about it, who is the one who kind of keeps the family together? Who plans the events? Who brings civilization to the Wild West? It's usually been the women. So I think sometimes we underestimate ourselves. Not to say that we're better than men. I feel like there's such a war of the sexes going on social media these days that it's very hard for us to admit that we all need each other. And there's always this kind of like, who's the better one? And like nobody, because we all have value. So anyway, I think that's just an interesting little side note, on this book. By the way, guys, a reminder, we are going to be choosing a name from everybody who is here with us and commenting. This is going to be for U.S. residents because all of our Canadian neighbors, I know you guys know what's going on. It's very hard to get past the tariffs and ends up costing you quite a bit of money. And the poor author, and I don't want to break Emi's piggy bank here, but we are going to draw a name for one. So if you think you'd like to try one of her books, do be posting here and say, yes, I would like to try, an Emmy book. And later on here, tonight, sometime we'll draw a name and I'll announce the winner tomorrow on the Facebook page. If I remember, I will try and hop over to the Instagram page. But since most of this primarily happens on Facebook, that's usually where the announcements are. And so I'm hoping some of my Insta people also hang out here on Facebook. But if you happen to be an Insta winner, you can let me know. I'll see the announcement on Facebook. But anyway, just want to let you guys know that. So say, I want to try an Emmy book. This is the time to post, and we will be keeping an eye on that. And somebody's gonna win a book. Anyway, so enough of that. I've done that little commercial long enough. Let's move on. I thought it was interesting also that your main characters are all doctors. And now, are there doctors in your family? Did you fall in love with a doctor at the hospital? What is with the doctors in this book?
I do write a lot of doctors. I don't because I have some other books where I've written doctors. Um, I knew initially that I wanted to set the book in Chicago. I had run the Chicago Marathon and kind of I fell in love with the city of Chicago. And so I thought, and we would at least when I was there, we walked by a bunch of the hospitals that are just like built into the skyline. And so that was kind of where the spark came. And there are doctors in my family. I have an uncle that's a
Aha.
doctor. I have a brother-in-law that's a doctor. So, that helps too. And also too, I think for me, I've always found doctors fascinating because it's the exact opposite of how my brain works.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and so the fact that they understand science and things like that really fascinates me. And so personally, I love Googling things when I have to write about medical, and like medical jargon. And also, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, my love has gone back to like Grey's Anatomy. That was right, right,
We
like
all
that
love
whole
Grey's
like,
Anatomy.
yeah. So I think I had that, like all of those things. So I did want to tackle kind of a medical romance. I hadn't done that before, so just challenging myself in different ways ended up
I
being.
love that. I think that's great. And you're right. It does take a certain person to be a doctor. And you guys, I might have shared this with some of you. I probably have with some of you earlier. Back when I was doing my battle with the big C, I remember they're, they're doing it. Oh my gosh, it's so noble. I wish I'd become a nurse. I mean, even a nurse. I mean, I never passed the science classes. What was I thinking about? That this is so noble. Oh, I wish I'd done this. And then it came time, after you've had operation, you have to give yourself that anticoagulant shot. Ah, and it's just a little needle, and it's not like this big thing, and you have to do it yourself. And they gave me my little lesson, so I'm like, ah. And then I get home, and I'd do this every day for a month. And I would literally, when it was time to do that, I would just hyperventilate. I would be so, I can't do this. And that was when I realized you were not cut out to be a nurse. And I
Yeah.
remember the first time I did it, and I just hit a baby vein and drew blood. I'm like, wow. So, it takes a special kind of person you've got to be, and to be a doctor, all this, the schooling they have to go through and the hard work. My hat is off to all our people who are in the medical profession, because it truly is a call. Again, it comes back to your calling, right? And what we're wired to do. But I loved the doctors in your book. That was really fun, seeing all the doctors and how that was working. And somebody wanted to know again the title of the book. It's Just Until the Wedding. And Cindy wanted to know, she asked, is this available on Kindle?
Yes, it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a Kindle
Oh,
Unlimited, yeah.
so
So
KU
so
guys.
are a lot of my books are on Kindle Unlimited. So
Okay, so that's very handy too, So if you're feeling like right now, because Kindle and KU, that's free, right? Am I remembering correctly?
yeah, if they have a membership, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a member of KU, and you're just like, gosh, I want to try this author,
Right.
that might be a good way, right, for them to get to know you a little bit. And speaking of, let's find out, where can people find you?
Oh, like social media
On the internet.
wise?
I know you got to be somewhere out here.
Oh yeah. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Threads, though I'm not super active on there. And so pretty much any platform I am trying to grow. So, find me on the one that you prefer.
All right, so she's ever. Oh, by the way, I have to laugh. Nicole's, I hated the heparin shots after surgery. You feel my pain, Nicole. Oh my. Anyway, but so for those of you who have had to join us late, because I know we're all on different schedules, not to fear. This is still going to be hanging out on Facebook for a while. And if you weren't able to get there, it will be on my Sheila Roberts YouTube channel. I'll be making sure that's up and running here later on this evening, so you can circle back and watch this after the fact and just learn a little bit about Emi. And we all know we all want to have her kind of snack at work. Yum, yum, chocolate. And so if you're wanting to know more about Emi, what got her started on her reading journey, you can watch this after the fact. But again, we'll draw a name here for a winner later on this evening and make an announcement on the Facebook page tomorrow. And Emi, I can't thank you enough for taking time to come and hang out with us. This has been just great. And like I said, if you missed the interview, go over to YouTube. It'll be on Facebook for a while here, and then learn all about Emi while you got the chance. Get it while it's hot. Anyway,
Right.
thank you for joining us. And everybody, thank you for
Thank you.
taking time to join us again tomorrow. We'll be back. It will be 6 p.m. Pacific time. I will be birthday book partying with my buddy Rayanne Thane, who's also got a book out. And there will be much fun to be had tomorrow night. So do come back. I know we got kind of a double header this week, and but that's always a good thing because you can never get enough of books, right? So thank you for joining us. We're going to say bye first to our Instagram people. Thanks, guys, and see you. I know some
Thank
of you just
you.
joined. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch up on YouTube or whatever. And we'll hope to see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. So saying bye to them. And then, of
Bye.
course, again, our Facebook gang. Thanks, you guys. I know we have some
Thank you.
regulars who show up for everything, and it's much appreciated. I hope you enjoy these. And we will see you hopefully back here tomorrow.
Thank you for